gonna talk it up. You know the Glock's out. If the boy disrespect gang, we don't chalk him out. I see them kids with a guard that I'm hopping up. Boom, boom, boom.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Shop Spot. We give it to you real and raw. Be sure to check the description for everything for all our Instagram, and let's get into it.
So today, it's kind of a little special episode. You know what I mean? We're gonna be talking about how society has criminalized in a way, men being vulnerable, open about their feelings and all that type of stuff, and we're gonna share our experiences with it, how it affects us, and any advice we can give y'all, hopefully it clicks in y'all's heads and y'all use it. You feel me? But yeah. So whoever wants to start, y'all go ahead.
Basically, women are supposed to be if we're thinking about biologically, right? Women are supposed to be the ones who are emotional, emotionally intelligent. But if we're thinking about it, when relationship has a good dynamic, right? It's about the character first before it's about attributes. If you know what I mean, because you can say, oh, you want a dude or a guy who has I don't know, he got money, he got he's in shape or whatever.
Right.
But women probably, I think they want emotionally intelligent people who are men too, because having all that and having no character, that's
right.
Not gonna work.
I'll be on Twitter heavy, you know what I mean? And at least once or twice a week, I see a tweet from a female saying how much they love or appreciate men who emotionally there, able to speak on how they feel and X, Y, and Z. But I feel at times it's what people gotta understand is, bro, since the beginning of the time, men, you know what I mean, we were never really taught to be vulnerable, at least in an emotional way, you know what I mean? We're always taught to be strong here and there, don't let nobody see you cry, don't none of that shit, you know what I mean? You gotta be strong 24/7. And I know for myself and how it affects me, it's I always thought there was more good than bad, but recently I realized it doesn't mean more harm than good, it was to a point where it's so myself, just to prevent myself from being vulnerable and shit, you know what I mean? I would put a wall so nobody outside of myself would know what's going on with me and I'll be cool. But then I put up so much to the point where it's I got to a point where I didn't even know what I was going through, you feel me? I blocked myself out, which is crazy. And that kind of messed up a lot of stuff in my life, you know what I mean? With my relationship, myself, X, Y, and Z. So it's yeah, bro. And it's I don't blame society today because it's I mean, if something is away for a really long time, it's kind of hard to just dismantle the entire system, we can't just do that shit in a day or a few years. It's gonna take a long time for that to happen.
Like you were saying, I feel what I see on social media more is definitely people saying I need a real man. I know some girls do that emotional stuff, but I think most people like a man not to show their emotion.
Yeah.
And then I think that's where it makes us not show some emotion even more, because I feel we don't do that already, but we just knowing that girls like it, it makes us not do it more.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Or it's they say they like it, but then when it actually happens, it's total opposite. I've been doing that shit a whole bunch of times, bro. A girl, they were tell me, yeah, I need you to be emotional, I need you to be X, Y, and Z. And when I would do that, she would just hit the fan. And it's that kind of caused me to be nah, I ain't gonna switch it no more. It's you know what I mean? It's as much as I personally, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be able to say how I feel about shit, without feeling bad about it. But it's when I do that, I know a lot of the times, things just never pan out in a positive way. So it's over time, I just can't be yo, fuck it, I'm not even gonna do that shit no more.
Yeah, bro, that has to do with what females want and what they need, because like I said before, they want probably more physical attributes and more and even with character, they want stuff that's kind of desires instead of needs, oh, I need them to be tough, not emotional.
Right.
But when they say that, it's they want a balance, because they don't just want you to be like like all tough all the time, you know. They want you to be like, you know, balanced. But what they say is like it doesn't match up to like what they actually need, you know.
Or, you know, I don't think it's like I don't think it's women's fault that it's this way. I feel like it's definitely 50-50. But you know, I feel like as men we gotta take some responsibility too, you know what I mean? Because I feel like this kind of started with us, you know. Like we made things a certain way, and it's like we're not we, but you know, in the past things are made a certain way. So it's like it had a long lasting effect on this, you know. I feel like we gotta. I feel like too, it's like also think of like yourself, bro. It's like okay, like you wanna stay to that kind of tradition that's gonna kill you inside for years and years, or you wanna, you know what I mean, be emotionally free and be able to express yourself regardless of who feels what or like who reacts to it in a certain way, you know. I feel like you gotta just have that free thing instead of mind, like don't let that tradition, you know, control you. You decide what you want for yourself and what works best for you in terms of your emotional state and like, you know, shit like that.
I got a video for y'all.
Word.
So
Okay.
sure, if you know that and if there's 100 marbles and you're going after the 2 marbles, then just be aware that to get those 2 is going to take a lot of work, a lot of adjusting. Just like if you're trying to get into a university that only has 5 spots, you're going to have to excel and be above and beyond. You have to be incredible, but be aware of that. You know, at the end of the day, if you know that you don't want to put in that work, or that's not likely for you, or you're not willing to relocate, then just get better at loving.
I think a big reason why relationships fail or they can't get a mate is a lot of people, they don't know what they actually qualify for. They don't know what they actually qualify for, so they're going for above what they actually can get.
100%.
And so they get mad at the system, and then you know, they're not working on themselves or being like, okay, well, how do I how do I get to that place to qualify for what I want?
I think it is healthy to attack the system, though. I will say that. I think there has to be a balance between accepting the way that things are and trying to change yourself to be optimal within that, but also challenging the world to be better. If you go on either end, though, I think that's where you get lost.
No, that's good, because I think the first thing that what really stood out to me that Shan described was, you have to understand, Jared described it, what you're qualified for, but not just that, you can't make excuses. You know what I mean? Like Shan was like that's why I tell guys all the time, there's no excuses here. We just don't have it here. We're not mom, we're not grandma, we're not auntie, we're just not that. Like there's no excuses. The only solution is to become the best version of yourself, you know? And so to me, I think that's really important for the complaining. For men, like no complaining, become the best version of yourself, and then.
So I think a valid thing that they said in that video, you know, was like knowing your capabilities in your relationship and stuff. You know, that's important because you know social media can easily like influence how you act or like what you do. You know, but it's like you gotta realize too. It's like on social media it can be one of 2 things: either all that shit is just fake for some likes, or it's like that person can do X, Y, Z because they have those resources. And it's like, you know, I mean, if you girl already got a boyfriend and he's working part-time, not sit up and expect no Birkin bag. Don't expect no damn freaking private flights or whatever to whatever country you know what I mean? It can still happen, but it's like, I mean, I would say don't expect it so much to the point where it's like if you don't do it, then he's considered not a good guy, you know what I mean?
They be expecting people to do that shit that be working at like fucking Burger King or some shit.
Right, bro. But it's like I think it's too. Look, it's my thing. Look, if you expect something out of somebody, you gotta do that shit yourself too. You know what I mean? Don't expect your mans to get you all these bags, do X, Y, and Z if you won't do even the size that. Look, if you want to buy him a $60 game, don't ask him to buy freaking $2,000 bag from some designer store, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like it's cool to have it's cool to want that shit. That's not a bad thing, but it's like, you know, at least what I would say is like, all right, so in this era of social media, bro, aside from that in real life, like make your expectations like, I'm not saying keep them low, but keep them very, very like realistic. You know what I mean? Because it's like, don't put them so high to the point where it's like, yeah, you want X, Y, and Z, but it's like don't have high standards and like a low like life rate, whatever. I don't know how to say the word.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you can't expect, and it's like eventually, yeah, you can work towards that. Both of you can work towards having that lavish lifestyle, but it's like in a moment where how things are, accept it, be grateful for whatever they do outside of whatever they got going on, because it's like it's not easy out here, bro. It's not easy. Like minimum wage is going up, but I mean, also everything else is kind of expensive now too. So it's like shit, though. Whatever they can do for you, appreciate that. But whether it's spending time with you, buying you little things, whatever. But it's like, yeah, don't let that social media shit get in your head and make you think that in order for somebody to love you or whatever, they gotta freaking go broke for you. Because if they go broke and then you leave them, then what? What was the point of all that?
There was no point because, bro, like social media, like you're never gonna really like be on that expectation that you're seeing all the time.
Right.
That you're always like trying to admire and trying to be like, so it is hard for people to like see reality, and it does take a lot of like self-work to be able to be like, oh, all right, this is what I actually need instead of what I like, want,
Right.
And it's just hard for people to see that.
Your things like your relationship would be like your relationship is whatever would be a lot better if you keep things realistic and do whatever you can to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit will go farther than trying to live up to the expectations of what social media has put out these last however many years.
Right.
Because like you can have the big vacations and nice calls every time your birthday comes around, or the bags, or the whatever. You know what I mean? You can eventually get that, but in this moment, if it's not there, that's just okay. That like the gifts, the vacations, X, Y, and Z, like that does not ultimately determine like love. That's like a luxury of being loved. You feel me? Like, but love, that's just hold like true love and whatever. It's just hold a lot more weight. You know what I mean? Than what social media portrays it to be like. You feel me?
If you can't buy two of what you're trying to buy, don't buy it.
Definitely, bro. So,
if you can't buy at least two, like for me, what I do is I just say four, bro, because like I'm trying to like stacks,
Right.
So at least two though, because like you gotta at least like be saving something.
Definitely, and it's always cool to like treat yourself here and there, but it's like what I mean. The ultimate goal is to stack bread. For me, like you can't be rich spending shit every week, or I should say spending more than you make. You feel me? You gotta like here and there. You say, look, this month I'll splurge a bit on this. Next month, da. But it's like don't do it every. Like I know with myself, I messed up last summer, bro. It's like I was being stupid with my money. I bought a whole bunch of shoes every week. You know what I mean? Clothes, X, Y, and Z, bro. And by like the end of the summer, I had like no bread in my pocket, and that was my fault. I had to treat myself a little bit too much, and then that was like I realized. I got a job now, but before having the job and shit, like I realized how important me saving was. It's like you can buy X, Y, and Z. That's cool, but ultimately you want to have bread on you at all times. So in case you lose this job now, you still got bread stacked up for however many months, and you're not trying to break up every little bit you can until until you set.
This world's just crazy, bro.
Well, hell yeah, it is, bro. It's been that way. What do you think is crazy about it? Like, what made you just start that shit out?
I think it's just like the way people like like girls be like, oh, we don't need men, blah 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 blah, but like they expect men to do everything, I guess. Everything.
Right, man.
And if they had a choice, if we went around asking, I'm not gonna say every girl, but most girls are gonna be like, oh, I'd rather have my husband pay or do all this stuff, and I just sit on my ass and do nothing. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, but like y'all be saying y'all don't need us. So it's just like
right, but nowadays they want to keep up the image of having like of doing something, but they don't want to actually do something,
Right.
Because like what it is like a girl will sit there and do like I don't know what's the job to be like an entrepreneur or whatever, that's doing something, that's being independent, that's, women's rights, blah, 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 and what's it called? They would like need a man to do, like, to help them, and they depend on that, and they expect like, oh, I earn like 100,000, you got to earn like 2,
Yeah. That's goofy.
So that's what I'm saying, like, bro, like, it's crazy.
Smoke a op and then I face that. Let a oppa get his face back. I did some shit I cannot take back. Real nigga had to face that. The BM is a snitch. What? She's trying to build a case.